Not to open any old wounds, but it's E3 weekend.
E3 is dead.
Long live E3.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so
I miss it.
that's why we're late, because really, let's be fair about a couple things here. There's no point us recording on a Friday when there's only 2 things that happen in Summer Game Fest and Devolver Digital, only for then Sunday to have Microsoft happen. There were actually a bunch of things on Saturday. Sunday had Xbox, Microsoft, and technically the PC Game Show. We were recording in the middle of the PC Game Show because
it's rough.
Yeah, we made it about 20 minutes in.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Monday, which we're not going to cover, other than hysterically, probably in a farcical way, is Ubisoft. And I guarantee you can guess the 3 games they're going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And then if there's any surprises, well, you get to be surprised as us.
And then is EA going like on the 11th? Or are they just doing a buy? They're just doing a.
We're just talking about Dragon Age.
All right, just doing a Dragon Age reveal.
That's
okay.
Oh, did you want more than that? Here's our sports games.
Yeah, it's like nothing new there. You're gonna buy them, and you're gonna love them, and but you're still gonna bitch about them.
Yep, we'll give you a reveal of our ultimate team and monetization plans later.
Classic. Hey, this is the Gamers 2 podcast, your weekly roundup of news and commentary related to the video game industry and anything else that might pique our interest. Peeking.
Peek. Also, we're skipping over new releases because there are some things that did come out, technically, and there's things that got announced this weekend that had available now, is available in 2 days, available whatever. So, you know what? You get to fend for yourself about this one.
Yeah, suck it.
But it does mean that we skip straight into headlines. And I'm going to take the first one. And then we'll alternate probably.
Yeah, we're just
as we want to do this. There's
as we feel necessary.
Yeah. There's so Summer Game Fest is sublettered. It starts at A and ends at double Q. Which is 42 items. Something like that.
I'm gonna trust that he's correct.
No, it's higher than that. It's like 48. Anyway, so the first one, we're just going to go through we're going to gloss over all the showcases that were this weekend. Ones I was unaware of until writing this document. And for some of them, we're just going to give out things that we're interested in, and those are where we'll elaborate. But for stuff like Xbox, Summer Game Fest, and maybe Future Game Show will be the most like listed type ones. But that puts us to number 1, which was a homebrew game summer showcase that I was unaware was happening on Thursday. And I just wanted to shout it out because this is what the homebrew showcase was. Quote, the Homebrew Games Summer Showcase is a celebration of all the games in development for old consoles. For the purpose of this showcase, we define a homebrew game as a video game being developed for a retro home console that came out before the year 2000, or for a handheld console that came out before 2004. 120 homebrew games, 15 consoles, 35 minutes worth of gameplay footage. And I just think that is wild. There was a 35-minute, 120-game conference for things that existed before 2004. Like in 2024, games are still being made for the Super Nintendo.
I don't even know, like, how do you even do that?
I don't know.
Like, is there like a manufacturer of cartridges? Are they like buying cartridges and erasing them and then right?
I don't know if they're doing that. If it's emulation, so it's styles of that same thing.
Mm-hmm.
If it's they might be printing cartridges for them. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, now I'm thinking about it, because I mean, you could order the PCBs for the cartridge.
Yeah.
From whatever. You could probably 3D print the cases if you needed to. They're probably doing some sort of cheap injection molding. Wild.
But it was
passion,
and I watched a little bit of it. So I was like, is this really what I think it is? Is this what they say it is? 100% is exactly what they say it is. All the games, I'm looking at them, I'm like, yeah, this is retro.
That's crazy.
So, shout out.
Good for them. good for them for following their passion.
We always say, I don't know if we've ever said this on the podcast, but it's true if you have 2 brain cells, that there is literally a game for everyone.
There is.
No matter if you started in 1990, if you started earlier than 1990, if you started just today, what genre do you like? Cool. Here's 3,000 that fit that genre.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Oh, but I only like doing crosswords in pen. Okay, listen. Now you're arguing.
Now
about
you're just
a
being
medium.
difficult. All right.
But I can get you a shit ton of crossword games. They might not be in pen, but I'm sure there's probably someone out there that has made one where you can use the digital pen to write it in.
Yeah, your little stylus.
Yeah, stylus that if you do the letter A, it snaps to a letter A and just
Your whatever.
And if that doesn't exist, again, $1 million idea.
Yep. Get the money from all those old people. All right, should we jump into the big one? Summer Games Fest.
I argue that it is the second biggest one. I think Xbox's was bigger.
I think Xbox is the best.
I think it's the
showcase.
best one this weekend. Period.
Yeah, no
down.
question. Yeah,
and this is even counting Sony's shit showcase.
Yeah, I don't even know what that was. That wasn't that. Well, that was their normal state of play, which was a huge disappointment because it wasn't a showcase.
Right.
All right. Summer Game Fest. Lego Horizon Adventures puts Aloy in a wonderful co-op world later this year across PC, PS5, and Nintendo Switch.
You gonna play?
I don't know.
So here's the answer. No is the answer.
Yeah, probably
I'll just say what the answer is gonna be. No. Because we haven't even played all of Skywalker Saga.
I know I haven't played it that much.
But also, I'm curious how this gets received by general population, because it's a Lego video game of a video game, which is not like you get Lego City, which are Lego video games, and then you get Lego movie video games, where it's Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Harry Potter,
everything,
Lord of the Rings.
Everything prior to this has been like a massive franchise that was
Popular.
across multiple forms of media.
Yeah.
Book, comics, movies, games, like.
And so it looks like they're trying to move this into it, and it didn't look bad. It looked like a Lego game.
No,
and the interesting part was the camera angle for me a little bit, I guess, where you were actually kind of like in a level where I'm so used to Lego being, I don't know, like a lower angle.
Yeah.
Like where you're almost behind the character instead of that ISO 2D where you're kind of like 2.5D where you're at a 45-degree angle looking down. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it all gets received.
All right.
I don't know if you want to alternate or if you want to just split.
I'm just going to go. I'm just going to go and then.
Okay.
13 years after its zombie smashing predecessor, the Chivalry devs bring back a Left 4 Dead contender with no more room in Hell 2.
It was interesting.
It was interesting.
It looked, immediately we had Left 4 Dead vibes, but it was 8 people.
It was, which I am like curious about it and how it plays out and it's received.
Can you do 2 and 6 AI? Can you just do 2 and you just have 6 empty slots for
is
whatever?
It scale based on how many people you have in there, all that good stuff. But I feel like 8 is an interesting number because it's enough to get a chaotic factor in there.
Right. It's enough to reach chaos, and then it's also enough where you go, do I have 8 friends?
Yeah.
That I can sync schedules with on the regular.
Yeah. But the worry for me there is, all right, so you have 8 people. Is the game adaptive enough so that it's fun if it's 8 people being chaotic and but also fun if you get 8 people who are hyper focused and like are on fire. You know what I mean? Or like on it.
Yeah.
Because if it's fun when you're in a chaotic group, all right, cool. But then if they're all on one night, then it's probably not fun because you just rip through it in 2 seconds. All right, and then we have Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. coming out September 3rd for consoles and PC. This one was leaked, I think, a long time ago, and then never made an appearance until now.
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of like whatever. I didn't have any care to play it to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Gonna be a tough sell if it's a full price game.
Agreed. It'll be a tough sell if it's a full price game, and I got to see more about like the actual how the gameplay actually is, because if flying feels bad or like you're technically flying plus combat,
yeah,
depending on what role you are, so it's like it has to feel right. If it doesn't feel right, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. The game, like what they showed, it looked
basic.
Yeah, it didn't. There wasn't like it looked slow.
And I'm curious how the whole snitch thing works.
Yes.
Because the whole problem with Quidditch is, haha, match doesn't end until the snitch is caught.
Yeah.
Well, you either now need to make the snitch catchable.
Yeah.
Which kind of seems like a lame.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be lame.
But at the same time, this is going back years. Way back in the day, Alteric Valley in WoW would sometimes last days.
Okay.
And you'd leave an instance, rejoin. It was a whole thing, right? If they did that where it was an ever-living game and like, all right, I'm going to get out for it and somebody just queues in and takes my spot as Seeker, but that game is still technically going until somebody actually end, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
But I can see that being a problem for, oh, let's just play a quick game of Quidditch. And it's like, we could be here for 5 days.
I'm sure they probably do it some silly way to where like the snitch spawns in after X amount of time.
Yeah, either spawns in X amount of time. There's probably like speed boosts or something around the map that you can like pick up to have nitrous broom.
Yeah, it just gets slowly easier to catch until it hits a point where like you can't avoid it almost. Next up is Cuff Bust, a new game from Choo Choo Charles developer, and it's about alien mice breaking out of jail.
This was the one that actually was maybe one of the most intriguing indie type things that was in the show. Enough where Matt and I looked at each other and were like, well.
Yeah, I would I'd fuck with that.
I mean,
it looks like it's got that fun weirdness factor going on. Like
it got that open laugh out of you for throwing soap on the floor to knock over a cop and then beat the shit out of him with a spatula.
Yeah, I was just like, what the fuck is this? It has the same like funness vibe to me as like Humans Fall Flat.
Right, but with like closer to a clear objective than a just figure out how to get out of the level type of thing.
Yep. Star Wars Outlaws trailer confirmed Lando ahead of the Ubisoft Forward gameplay reveal.
God, I don't care.
Yep.
Again, I'm with you with your same comment from when we watched it. It's starting to look too good to be true, which is scary for how good it could be.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm not a hater, all right? If I want it to be that good. But what I'm seeing doesn't jive with what I know Ubisoft typically puts out.
But this, to be fair, this is massive.
Yes.
Who has canceled the Division game on me now and has made at least 2 good games, Division 1 and 2.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. So maybe they put all their eggs.
I have hope in massive.
Oh, yeah. Like if they put all their eggs in this basket because like they didn't.
Right.
Everything else has been canceled, then by all means, it could be that good. Indie dev behind Serene platformer Gris from 2018 is back to show off gameplay from its next gem, Neva. I think is that. I don't know how they said that. And this time you have a sword. That was a fun moment that Nate looked up, saw it, and was like, "This reminds me of that one game, Gris." And then I was like, "Well, if you would have looked up 3 seconds sooner, you would have seen from the makers of Gris."
Yeah. Yeah.
Civ 7 has been confirmed and is coming to PC and console simultaneously next year. It's another one of those, like, if you're into those games, it's going to definitely do it for you.
Yeah, I saw somebody tweet, why is my entire friends list in Civ 6 right now? Because they didn't hear the news about 7, and so everybody got nostalgic and started playing 6.
Oh, yeah, classic.
They're like, why is everybody in 6? And everybody was responding, like, Civ 7 just got announced. So I was like, oh, okay.
Black Myth Wukong Collector's Edition revealed at 4 100 doll hairs. There's a 40-centimeter figure.
There was a lot of things in that collection.
There was a lot of things.
Like they went through 3 PowerPoint slides worth of things in the collection. I was like, at one point I thought you actually got the staff. His actual bow staff.
I think you get a miniature of it or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Like a
Maybe
fucking keychain size one.
Yeah,
like you can pull out of your ear.
I say you get the version he pulls out of his ear.
Yeah. I don't know. That's another one of those games that looks too good to be true. But
See, that one looks too good to be true that I wouldn't play it, though.
yes.
Star Wars Outlaws looks too good to be true, and I will play it.
Mm. Yeah, they got me. I'll play it too. Fuckers. Open world survival game Once Human gets a July 9th release date.
Mm-hmm.
Which one was that? Once Human. Yeah, whatever. Metaphor Refantasia or Refantasio boasts over 40 jobs that will transform your character over the course of this huge RPG.
That's the Persona people.
Yep, Persona being Persona. MetaQuest 3 got exclusive Batman Arkham Shadows, a new story trailer that everyone was disappointed about.
I was disappointed.
I think that the people who were disappointed outweigh the people who were excited.
Yeah. Yeah, because everybody's like Arkham and they're like MetaQuest and everybody,
Yeah. Tears of Metal announced as a medieval hack and slash co-op roguelike. There's been a weird uptick in co-op and couch co-op things.
It's like a weird tick up, but it's...
I don't know if it's a weird uptick in
I know
like...
what you mean, though.
In like that they exist, or more of like they're making a point to say that it does that.
I think they're making a point.
Okay.
Because I think for the long... And I think part of it is still COVID related.
Mm-hmm.
Where before COVID, we were starting to stray away from that, and it was a lot of like you had niche things of you get Overcooked or Human Fall Flat or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Gang Beasts. But then COVID hit, and everybody was like, "Oh, what if we had a bunch of couch co-op things?" And now there's still ones that were being like built during that downtime that are now seeing light of day.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of what everybody would have liked is that in 2017 all this was happening. Then when COVID hit, we had all of them.
Yeah. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero gets an October 11th release date.
Another Dragon Ball game.
Always so odd. It's wild because it's one of those like franchises that I'm like, it doesn't seem. I thought it would start to dwindle, but it has not. It's been very steady.
Yeah.
Delta Force Hawk Ops has PC Global Alpha coming in July, and the Black Hawk Down missions.
Of course it does.
For that sweet, sweet marketing, I guess. Fatal Fury City of Wolves is coming in 2025. Battle Crush Early Access is coming in June. There's a Mecha Break closed beta coming in August 2024. That game was all over the place.
We saw it there, and we see it again in Xbox, and the Xbox gameplay of it looked ridiculous.
Yeah, it's got the looks.
It's scratching the mech itch. The Gundam.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Mm-hmm. It looks real good, and it's multiplayer, so that's super fascinating. It's just a question of how it feels to play, I guess, if it's approachable.
Yep.
I always thought that it was pronounced Bloomhouse, but everyone was saying Blumhouse, which is interesting. Blumhouse Games reveals its first full slate of indie horror game. Its full first slate of horror indie horror. I can speak. Holy shit! Pull yourself together. Its full first slate of indie horror games that it's publishing.
So what we get for recording on a Sunday?
I know, I'm just out of it. Co-op beat 'em up Mighty Morphin Power Ranger Rita's Rewind was announced. Classic Power Rangers beat 'em up. Played a Power Rangers beat 'em up on Sega as a wee lad. Dear and Boy is a dangerous upcoming platformer about a kid who finds a hurt fawn. And they go on an adventure together. And I'm sure it's got some sort of sad ending.
Kid dies.
All right.
That'd be a sad ending.
That would be a sad ending. I mean, the deer dying would probably be sad too, but
But I think it'd be sadder if the kid dies.
I don't know.
And then you have to you as the outside body watch the deer more than the child instead of the other way around.
Then the deer gets hit by a car.
No, then the deer gets crippled by a car.
Okay. Oof.
I'm here for those tear jerking moments.
It's tough. Gonna kill that dog.
All the bad guys.
Kingdom Come.
Fully quote Brennan for absolutely no reason.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 gets a brand new trailer showing off a far more raunchy medieval RPG than the original game.
Which is a weird thing to say for Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Yeah, it does look good though.
Yeah, true.
Slitterhead gets November release date and a gameplay trailer.
The name, man.
It is. It's, you know what's weird though? There's an anime which I think is based on a manga, but it's called Parasite, and it's that same concept of basically aliens, a parasitic alien that takes over people's bodies, and it's like they look like a normal person, but then they can like do that crazy shit with their heads, but then the main character, the parasite lives in his hand.
Oh, okay.
So it's a whole thing.
Yeah, man.
Cool concept.
Listen, animes and parasites, all right?
Yeah.
You're a step away from a certain H.
Ooh. Interested? No. New roguelike shooter from one of the lead Matrix animators is basically GTA with beans. And it's coming soon. That one looked funny.
Yeah, it was weird. I didn't put it together as beans at first.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, yeah, okay.
I didn't either. I was trying to figure out what it was.
Yeah, it was like nondescript chicken nugget. It was really weird.
Yeah, I was like, are they potatoes?
Yeah. But no, beans.
Beans.
Legumes.
Give it the beans. Karn is a climbing game from the creators of Fury and Haven.
Gotta start climbing.
Yep. Wonders. At least you got your hands and feet in this one. You're not trying to do it in like an iron kettle.
That's getting over it with Benefati.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, at least you got your hands and feet.
True.
Wander Stop is the Stanley Parable creators' take on Stardew Valley.
Which there's got to be a gimmick, right?
Yeah.
There's
some twists.
The Parable guys, so.
Paranormal Mystery Unknown 9 Awakening gets a new story trailer. Tria, The Last Song, gets a new trailer, updated demo, and a community contest. The First Descendant gets a July 2nd release date. Among Us developer launches a publishing arm, Outer Sloth.
Which this whole thing was an interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I like the thought is nice, I guess.
Yeah. But it was the next part that.
Among Us TV show gets a sneak peek and a star-studded cast. Yeah. That's the current entertainment wave of like, let's make everything a TV series or whatever.
Right, everything a TV series, and also the cast is wild. But what do you do? Like?
You're not supposed to see them.
What? Yeah, it's just gonna be voiceovers, but it's like, what is the? What do you do?
What's the story?
What's the show?
Yeah, what's the I don't know. That's going to be a weird one. I'm sure one of us will have to bite the bullet and watch an episode or two, I guess.
Gosh, I'm going to hope the clips just show up.
Yeah. Sonic Shadow Generations launches October 25th.
It actually looked like a good Sonic game.
It did.
I
was not expecting the crowd reaction on that one.
Right. I'm not a Sonic connoisseur, but it actually looked like a good Sonic game.
Same. The crowd went kind of nuts when it popped up. I was like, I didn't realize there were so many fucking Sonic fans in the world. Dune Awakening is going down the alternate history storyline to the books and films. So like a what if? What was it?
I don't give a shit about Dune.
It's like a what if? I can't remember what the hell the point of it was. Like, what if Leto or whatever doesn't die? I guess.
I guess, but it's
I don't know.
it's also the Dune MMO
Yeah.
where they're doing a. I think it's like what if
Dune
Paul
is essentially
was,
Game of Thrones in space.
but they're I guess, but they're in the desert. I fucking listen. I don't get it, and I'm never gonna get it, and that's just something I've lived with.
I've been thinking about
People are like, oh,
reading-
did you read did you read the books? And I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. I've been thinking about reading the books, but yeah, whatever, we'll see.
I mean, maybe it'll mean something more to you. Maybe
Yeah.
you'll be able to explain it to me.
Just one of those things. Battle Aces is an RTS game for everyone that aims to bring the core fun of the genre, like how World of Warcraft did MMOs.
So the funniest thing about this entire thing was the trailer they started out with.
That was a
Looked-
bait and switch.
Looked so not like an RTS. And then 2 seconds into the guy talking about it goes, the real-time strategy, and you could hear groans.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they kind of fucked themselves because they did too good with the trailer, which was not actually related to the game at all.
Yeah, and then they went, and this RTS, and you actively saw everybody was like, oh yeah, all right, I dig this art style, do this action, like what's going on here, what's going on? And they're like, oh, it's an RTS, and you're like, oh, never mind, no.
Thanks for nothing.
That being said, I mean, hey, listen, it looked good still for an RTS too, but
Yeah.
man, that was a bait and switch.
That was rough. The finals is going to Kyoto on June 13th.
You know, Asian inspired maps,
Yep.
ninja stuff. Wee.
Good stuff. Alan Wake 2 Night Springs DLC is coming June 8th,
Oh no.
and it offers something desperately missing from the core game.
So
Which
it's
is
interesting because you get to play. You're playing as three
people.
characters. You're playing as I'm gonna forget her name from Control. Playing as a waitress from the diner that you run into during Alan Wake 2, and then you're also playing as, I believe it's Barry the sheriff from Alan Wake 2.
Interesting.
As you go through and do things, and I mean more Alan Wake, yeah. Who says no?
Yeah. Good stuff. New World Internum coming October 15th to PS5 and Xbox Series X.
New World still alive.
Still alive, coming to console. Great. Hyper Light Breaker coming in early access later this summer. Party Animals is getting a cart mode. In EA,
Speaking
Go
of
ahead.
partying like co-op couch games. Party Animals.
Yeah, Party Animals, couch co-op. Fuck them up.
Fuck 'em up.
EA says it's still working on Skate 4 as it shows off pre-alpha footage and bizarre trailer
So
ahead of the playtest this fall. That was a weird trailer.
it was a weird trailer. It was, whatever, that they just kind of acknowledge that they're still working on it. My immediate takeaway. So the weird thing, right, was that they showed the Tim Robinson thing.
Yep.
And if anybody remembers the Skate intros from 1, 2, and 3, they did those real world things where they had somebody actively like yelling over things, like telling the guys to stop skating. There were people actually playing the roles of security guards as the pro skaters were around doing their thing. But that was when all the pro skaters were still in there, and they actively made it aware that it was pro skaters, and usually it was a pro skater playing the security guard as well.
Mm-hmm.
But this was just Tim Robinson and no skaters. It was Tim Robinson just having an office conversation, screeching about things. And then the screen went black, and everybody went, what? And then they went, and now we'll talk about Skate 4. And then they put us back in that office. Because that's the part that I think everybody forgets about this, is that they did that entire scene, went back to Keeley, who then said, went back to, I'm going to forget her name now. Curious Joy, I think. They went back to her, who then said, and back to Skate, and then they go back into the same exact scene, and it's Tim Robinson there that's like, oh, that's weird, the cops or whatever. and is now making a reference to the idea that there's actually skaters outside, and that the company that he is existing in has essentially shut the city down. So there's two things I take from that. One, that's not how you do a skate intro. You should know how this works by now. You should have had like the skaters like crashing through a window or something, or
something.
actively skating through the office.
It took me because I didn't play really the skate games. I didn't know what the fuck this was about until he said, "Oh, this is Skate."
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh, okay." Couldn't like.
No, I mean it took me that long to figure it out because there should have been a scene with like them skating through the back or something. Or Tim doing that freak out and then going downstairs to tell them to stop skating or, something along those lines. Like,
yeah,
there should have been that playful banter part of it. And then they just, so here's the tinfoil hat part, right? The tinfoil hat part that I told you.
Yes.
Which
is the scary part.
They shut, yeah, I know, right? They shut the billboard that they show over this skating stuff, and they show a moment where like they're skating downhill and then they like spawn in a ramp and a rail. Like they're like alluding to the idea that you can like build quick ramps and stuff to do tricks off of and whatever. But the billboard says M Corp or whatever the name of the company was that has like essentially shut the city down due to, bad policies and yada, yada, yada. They've like drove everybody out. But if the city has been taken over by a corporation, and that corporation has now scattered everybody, then what does that mean for a world like Skate? Well, in previous Skates, it meant the world you didn't have that problem. You just had you trying to get famous as a skater, and the world was lived in. Cars were driving on the road. There were other people, all those things. If you tell the story of a corporation destroying a city, then guess what you don't have to worry about figuring out? Cars driving around, a living world, other people. You get to have you as the skater, and then you get to essentially have quest NPCs where you probably skate up to them, get a quest, go do quest, and then return it. But there's no active manipulation, which really scares me, because if they decide to do a stoic world and then you skating inside of it, that's not going to sit well with people.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty big failure. All right, Paul Worlds. Paul. It's not Paul because they're pals. All right, Matt?
They're not
Pals.
Pauls.
Together. They're not Pauls. They're pals.
Paul World is a terrifying horror movie.
That you enslave to do labor for you and fight. Pal World's biggest patch yet, the Sakurajima. Suck my dick. Sakurajima update shows off new gear.
I like that's your breakdown you go to of just I'll suck my dick at this point.
Shows off new gear, buildings, bosses, and pals like the community manifested. Grill it. Oh boy! Have you played that at all recently?
No, not recently. I played it when I first came out for a little bit, but the other boys went harder than I did in it. So
yeah. 4 years after releasing on PC, Valorant is coming to PS5 and Xbox Series, and you can play the beta next week. Monster Hunter Wilds confirms crossplay for all platforms in a series first, and quietly reveals what might be its most important monster. Then finally, Phantom Blade Zero gets a combat-heavy new trailer.
True.
All right, so what are your feelings?
Keeley did give a, we don't mention this until now, but Keeley did do like a pseudo state of the industry speech.
The beginning,
in the beginning a little bit.
Yep.
So, I mean, good, because the original bar for him was probably assuming that he wouldn't say anything.
Yeah. I'm wondering if that was added in.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe
based on
he saw enough people saying like,
yeah,
hey, you should say something.
Yeah, because this week, I mean, we don't talk about it, but this week, before this, Esquire put out a piece about kind of specifically about Jeff Keighley and Summer Games Fest and like the monetary side of it, and what his motives are and stuff like that. And it kind of went viral. Largely because some of the stuff they say in there from their sources is that, like, you know, for a minute, they claim that, like, for a minute trailer, it was like, I think $100,000, something like that. That they were charging outrageous amounts of money to air trailers at Summer Games Fest. So yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah. So overall, the idea to, you know, what was the warning there? Don't get excited. Don't be, you know, lower expectation type of thing.
Yeah.
I think is correct, if not maybe lower than you thought you needed to lower them. Lower them a little bit further.
Yeah, I mean, I
wasn't wowed in any aspect. Was I disappointed? Nah, also not really. Because I guess my expectations weren't much. And I couldn't have seen a world anyway where a bunch of stuff was going to get announced.
Yeah.
So I had already plummeted my expectations. But I think it was still longer than it needed to be.
Oh yeah, I think that's can be said for all of Jeff Keighley's stuff. Is it for sure was longer than it needed to be, had a little bit too much fanfare, like too much fluff. And I agree with that sentiment. Like, there was actually a good amount of games I saw there that I thought were interesting, but they didn't have any wow games, any games that, like, you know, blew your socks off or like were big unexpected things. But you know, it was fine. It was fine. It was they could have cut a lot of time out, but as far as like Jeff Keighley's normal rigmarole, it was good.
Yeah, it was what I've basically come to expect at this point.
Yep. For sure. For sure.
Then we moved on to the I mean, these aren't really in order of shows existing.
Mm-hmm.
But Future Game Showcase. The ones I wanted to highlight out of here,
Mm-hmm.
in no order, were Body Cam.
Yeah,
Which has gone viral for a little while now.
Yeah, I still can't comprehend how they get that game to look
photorealistic.
Yeah, and like, there's some points in the trailer. I was watching that trailer very closely because I was like, "What the fuck are you people up to?" And
are we just actively playing somebody?
Yeah, are we killing people right now? And there are some points where you can tell that, like, all right, that's not natural. Like,
right.
Some of the times when, like, the bodies would ragdoll, which generally pretty good, but there's a few times where it's like, all right, that's not quite right.
Yeah.
But for the most part, like, the way, like, the reflections on the, like, there was one point where they had a holographic sight on a gun, and you saw the reflection inside the barrel of, like, the holographic shroud.
Right.
And I was like, how are you motherfuckers doing this? Like, are you going to have, like, 2 maps? Because you just, like...
Yeah, because you had to fine-tune them so hard.
Yeah.
Then there was Screenbound. And that's the 2D while playing 3D.
Okay, yeah. All right. I thought that one was really interesting. It kind of gave me Fez vibes. Like...
Yeah.
Like how there was a little,
like map manipulation in order to do things.
Mm-hmm.
Dredge, the Iron Rig. It's DLC coming later this year. Then there was one called First Dwarf. And that is quoted as the following. If there's one thing dwarves are better at than grooming their beards, it's engineering. Jump into your mech, build a base, and explore the crumbled fantasy world in this immersive action RPG. Will you manage to survive its dangers?
Yeah, that one.
Dwarfs and mechs, man.
That one looked super good, and it also hit all of the, like, exploration and, like, the village building and shit. I'm
right.
Like, ooh, it's got a lot of stuff going on. It wasn't particularly interesting to me, but I did get a chuckle out of Detective Dotson. Because it was like Bollywood India one.
Yes. Yeah. I think what they open with.
Yeah. That one got a little chuckle out of me. And I think, yeah, you have more that you had on there, right? I think you want to talk
I
about.
have the description of Once Human, which was shown on Xbox as well. But Once Human, being a multiplayer open-world survival game set in a strange post-apocalyptic future, unite with friends to fight monstrous enemies, uncover secret plots, compete for resources, and build your own territory. Again, once you were merely human, now you have the power to remake the world. Haha. I also believe in that one you were like actually building a house and like building another base and stuff. So it was another, same type of thing, except you were a dwarf with a mech. So it was like, well,
yeah.
And then I have Parcel Core. And this one. Ditch the 9 to 5 and embrace the high-octane life of a freelance bicycle messenger. Forget the job security, stable salary, and basic workplace rights less cool jobs offer while you ride along walls, grind rails, and startle pigeons on your way to corporation-toppling domination. You're a bike messenger.
Oh, yeah.
Hauling ass through a city on a bike. And I don't know. Something about that just like, yeah.
There was... Actually, this one had a good amount of games where I'm like, this looks interesting. There was the Precinct. That one looked interesting. Duck Detective was kind of neat.
Specifically, Duck Detective, the Stolen Salami?
The Secret Salami.
Secret Salami.
Mm-hmm.
And Relic First Guardian was just a shout out because it looks like a Souls-like that visually looked really cool.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's it for the ones that really caught my eye. I'm skimming through this to see if any of these. Oh yeah, the Starship Troopers one. That one, Starship Troopers always looks good to me.
Yeah,
love that idea.
I guess the funny thing with Starship Troopers is just Helldivers exist now, so we're kind of fucked up. They're kind of screwed.
They kind of they should have came out with it sooner. I think that's it.
That's all I really got on that one.
All right. Next up was Day of the Devs, which I didn't watch. Did you watch this one yourself, or did you just skim through
I skimmed through.
Okay.
There's a lot in Day of the Devs.
Yeah.
Because they go for like, they might go for another 2 hours or whatever, but they're usually doing like some more deep dives and stuff like that. And so there is a lot.
Like
so
I
needed a
recap
recap to actually like
on Karn and some other ones we've already seen.
Yep.
I'm not even gonna go through all those. And then Zoocosis. What's the deal with that?
My notes were just nope.
No.
I'm not dealing with a spider
giraffe.
giraffe.
Oh, that was okay.
That's a spider giraffe and double mouth kangaroo. No.
Yeah, and the giraffe had the really long tongue. That was like a snake tongue. Or that was its neck.
Yeah, that was its neck that was just like slapping around.
Yep. That one was creepy. Yeah, that was a big nope for me.
Yeah. I was just like, nah, man, I'm good. That's worse than Five Nights at Freddy's. By a lot.
And then Tides of Tomorrow from the makers of Road 96. Tides of Tomorrow challenges you to survive the troubled ocean planet of Illand, as well as the choices made by your friends and favorite streamers.
So this was like I want to say roguelike, but you arrived on like an island, and then all these choices that you would make as you were playing through the story can also be influenced by people on friends list and whatever else. Like if you went in and made a choice, then I would end up with dialogue options that are relative to your choices.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I made choices, you'd see the same thing.
Okay, I think I remember seeing the gameplay for this.
Basically, like imagine if I had affected your Detroit Become Human save by choosing to light myself on fire at the parade.
Yeah.
Actually, I think you chose to light yourself on fire at the parade. I believe I chose to kill everybody.
Yeah, you chose to kill everyone. I don't know what I chose, actually.
You either got gunned down or lit yourself on fire.
I did whatever the Paragon route was.
Yeah, I know you didn't go for the fight. Because I remember I went for the fight and Sam was like, I can't believe you. But yeah, so it's just like I'm curious to see how that kind of works with all the choices and stuff that can be hopefully manipulated and whatever, and how knowledgeable is the game in turn, how many options actually are there if you make a choice versus then what do I see out of that?
Like how much of a difference does it actually make? Yeah.
Right. And then we went to Devolver. Good old Devolver Digital. It was Volvy's birthday.
Yeah.
That
You're telling me.
Fucking rat. I love Devolver for being insane.
Yeah, I
But
love.
man, they are insane.
Yeah, I enjoy watching their showcases for the story.
Right, I'm like, oh, I'm watching Summer Game Fest. There better be good games here. It's like, no, I don't give a shit about Devolver's games.
Yeah.
What story are they telling me this year? What weird shit are they gonna do?
Oh,
And now that they have Volvi, it's a terrifying horror show. But I
Yeah.
think it was stuff like Cult of the Lamb getting
couch co-op.
Couch co-op. Another game that I don't remember, but the one I wanted to highlight was Tenjutsu,
Mm-hmm.
which was the first of two brand new games announced during the event.
That was the anime one, I believe.
That's the one coming from the creators of Dead Cells.
Yeah.
And it's a rogue jutsu game set in a crumbling city where you play as a renegade Yakuza taking down her former colleagues. So like the cutscenes, were like that anime one, but then it was pixel art when they switched over to the actual like gameplay of moving around. And I was like, I'm so in. That looks so good.
That does look. It looks super good. Yeah. The other ones that caught my eye was Angerfoot.
Yes.
Where you got the power ups and pair of shoes you were wearing.
Yeah, depending on the shoes, you had either like jets or uppercuts or blast one. Yeah, that was definitely an interesting way to. It reminded me of with less personality, kind of, but the High on Life, where like each gun has its own type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh well, each shoe now gives you a different ability. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I kind of like that.
Then there was the Crush House, which was, I feel like Devolver has one of those every year now, where it's like some sort of relationship simulator type thing.
Yeah, that one was. It was like it was
reality
like
TV show.
You were an MTV reality TV show, but manipulating the stories and everything as you do on reality TV shows.
Yeah, you were like the producer of a reality TV show.
Because eventually they showed one quick scene of a brain in a jar in a basement.
Yep.
Hooked up to all the monitors, like writing the story. And so I was like, I'm curious what's the end product? Is it like make the best show? Is it whatever? Like what is considered is it
what gets the most ratings?
Right. Is it that, or is it like a
kind of just
like a Supermassive Until Dawn thing, right? Where you do a playthrough and those are the choices you made. And if you want to see like what happens otherwise, you kind of go back. I don't know.
Yeah. We probably won't know either.
You and I won't.
Yeah. And since, there's only two other games in there that we didn't mention, there's the Talos Principle 2, Road to Elysium, and what's the other one? Possessors. Those are the other two games that were announced that we didn't really chit-chat about. All right. What is up after Devolver? Future of Play.
Now, some of these other ones have just a lot of either repeats or a lot of indie rips or whatever. So, Future Play is just a shout out. I don't if you're flipping through it real quick and see anything, go for it. But
yeah, I don't recall.
You probably didn't watch it.
I think I might have. Did I not watch it? No, I don't think I did. I don't think I did watch this one. Yeah, I see that the Battle Aces. Why do I know that one? Battle Suit Aces. I don't know. Whatever.
So then we go to wholesome games.
Okay. Was there anything in there that you...
There were a shit ton of games shown.
Yeah, okay.
I think it was like over 70. It was too many. We're not going to go through all of them. But I'm going to reference a few.
Okay.
I'm going to reference one called Tiny Bookshop.
Okay. I like the name.
Tiny Bookshop is a life sim in which you run a small bookstore.
Okay.
Your entire goal is to satisfy customers' needs. So they're going to say they have a need, and you got to find a book that fits their needs.
I like it.
They get satisfied, they come back, get a new book, grow business, yada, yada, yada. Simple.
Yes.
But I like that. I like simple sometimes.
Yes.
Then there's Crab God.
You say Crab God? Or
yeah.
Okay.
God. You play as a seemingly benevolent deity in Crab God, raising crablings and teaching them skills as they grow up. You also shape the environment, build coral reefs, and attract new sea life to expand your domain as Crab God.
Crab God. I like the sound of rooster. Didn't see anything. Didn't watch it. I'm just reading the thing here.
Oh, yeah, okay. We're going through the...
Point and click narrative driven adventure about the Chinese zodiac.
Yes.
You play as a rooster, a troublesome member of the zodiac who was sent back in time by Dragon in order to learn some life lessons. And these lessons play out as a diverse assortment of mini games. Sounds great. See some VR shit in here.
The other one for me was Pool, which is technically available, I believe, now on Steam. But Pool, P4OsL, so Pool, is a physics-based game in which you hit pool balls to eat the others on the table to grow your collection as much as possible, all while trying to fit as many balls on the table as you can. So, just a weird puzzle game almost.
All right.
And I believe you can technically compete against your friends. I think just by terms of like leaderboards, though, not.
Fantastic. There's so many
Tons.
Yeah, so many
Absolutely
random
tons.
games. And then next up was the Latin American Game Showcase, which we aren't really going to cover, but once again,
There was also the Latin American FPS Showcase.
yeah, I saw that. I didn't watch it, but I saw it, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah. I was like, wait, don't you guys have? You already have the game. You specified an FPS Showcase,
6 not. Oh my god!
but it had a lot of repeats in it.
There's so many games like in the Latin
Oh yeah,
Game
there's shit
Showcase.
tons. Absolutely shit tons. But you should check them out.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of which one is the one that I. Oh boy, where is it? Deathbound was interesting. Dungeon Drafters was interesting. Dreamcore is one that you've probably seen. But Dreamcore, there was a clip going around on social media maybe a month or so ago that looked almost like subliminal.
mm-hmm.
But it was you walking through like pools of water and seeing all these tunnels, and you walked through the water to go into a tunnel to like get through this stuff and it was all very not photorealistic, but like like eerie, like you're alone just exploring in this world.
Mm.
And if you're looking at the images, the Dreamcore image that they use in the preview almost looks like Edward Scissorhands houses with like hills just rolling and just houses places. But then it goes to night and you explore and looked interesting.
Wild.
Just doing a final check through this
Okay.
because there are a lot.
There's the ton. It's too much for one.
Oh yeah,
person.
Midnight Crimes was interesting. Another like kind of noir detective trying to figure things out. Which there were a few noir detective ones this time around. But then we go to Microsoft.
Xbox Games Showcase.
And Xbox has a lot. And we start with Call of Duty COD Blob 6. And we start with a trailer that is so Call of Duty Black Ops, I don't know what else it could be. You got Colin Powell, Bush, Clinton,
the first Bush,
Hussein. Yeah, the first Bush. And that was just the campaign trailer. But it looked like a Call of Duty one and it looked good.
Yeah.
I don't think at this point Call of Duty really does bad campaigns, but we'll see. The bigger thing I believe for Call of Duty for people that aren't on this podcast is how the multiplayer will be.
Yep. And that's coming out October 25th.
Yep.
And it will be on Xbox Game Pass day one.
Yeah. And I believe just Xbox Game Pass. I was gonna say it's on PC too, but I don't think it is. It's getting launched on PC, but not on PC Game Pass. And then we go to my favorite. Probably. Doom. The Dark Ages.
He needs to update his soundtrack for, the raids for the WoW expansion when that comes out.
That's true. That's true, except Doom will probably be out after the expansion because it's coming in 2025.
Yeah.
But we're taking the Doomslayer back in time. Except when I say back in time, did you think that the Doomslayer was going to ride a dragon and that dragon was going to breathe fire into the mouth of a demon from hell? No? Well, guess what? It did. There was also a gun that shot skulls.
Yeah, that was the thing from the trailer that got me the most, was all the gun designs.
Yeah.
All the weapon designs were
guns
amazing.
doing that, the chainsaw shield.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whatever you want to call it, that he was then throwing at things and doing landing moves. I was like, it just feels so Doom, and I'm so happy.
And he was wearing fur.
Yeah, he had a fur cape for absolutely no reason.
Just to be badass on his dragon, I guess.
I guess so. If your Game of Thrones meets Doom. State of Decay 3 got announced. Years after State of Decay 2. And I mean, I guess technically it's just the latest trailer because it did get announced in 2020, but
yeah. There was actually a trailer, I guess.
There was actually a trailer, and there was a lot of things going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked like more State of Decay, but a lot better graphics, so hopefully people are happy. Then we move into Dragon Age Veilguard. Coming, later this year, apparently. And we're going to actually get gameplay on Tuesday the 11th, I believe.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Is what the EA thing is. They're going to do a gameplay reveal.
Yeah, 15 minutes of gameplay.
But the official trailer was two people talking about how they need to build. Essentially, it sounds like you're assembling the Veilguard, and then you're leading the Veilguard.
Yeah.
But it almost... my takeaway from the entire trailer was, okay, looks like Dragon Age in maybe a modern way. There's no gameplay, so it's really hard to tell. So the gameplay will be I'm now very curious to watch the gameplay on Tuesday. Because if this gameplay looks weird, I'm going to be so sad.
Same.
But at the same time, it almost seems like they went, yep, Inquisition happened. Don't talk about that. Or they're just going to be like, yep, there was an Inquisition. I don't know. We haven't seen the Inquisitor for years. Weird. Anyway, moving on.
I'm wondering if they're going to do some sort of time jump.
Forward?
Yeah.
Or backward?
Forward.
Yeah. They might. Then we got to see anything more on that? Or
no.
Okay. Starfield's first expansion got a trailer, and it looked better than the fucking original game?
Yeah.
I think.
I feel like... Oh, yeah, because at first I didn't think it was Starfield. Because I was like, this doesn't look like, this isn't Starfield. And then as we got more in, I started to see more of the same assets and stuff. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's all like the spacesuit and stuff. And I was like,
yeah.
And then they're getting a smaller update that I think is out tonight. That is some new bounties with other content, including the creation stuff.
Yep, creation kit.
So it looks like you can finally have Preston Garvey show up and tell you that another settlement needs a new plushie. Speaking of Preston Garvey. Segways. Fallout 76 is getting a new update, Skyline Valley. And they're actually putting in an entire new map. The first new map in X amount of years.
Yeah.
Into 76.
Mm-hmm.
It is coming out on June 12th, which is Wednesday. And day one on Game Pass.
Yeah, and you get to play as a ghoul.
Yeah.
You can be a ghoul now. Well,
within 2025.
2025, yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean it was also a very Vault Tech style video to announce it.
Yeah.
17, almost 18 million players according to their little counter. And you gotta capitalize on the Fallout show.
Yeah. Gotta strike while the iron's hot.
Now for something I didn't expect to see. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is the debut game from Sandfall Interactive. Role-playing game where you're looking to save humanity from certain destruction. Out in 2025 on Series X. Now, I guess the idea is that there is a spirit or god that paints a number on the rock, and everybody that is that number dies. And that number counts down. And so that's where they just like, we're watching people crumble in front of them type of thing, where it's like everybody that is 33 dead.
Yeah, I didn't quite get the gist of it, but it was something like that.
Yeah, it was basically that, and then them going to now go try to kill the god so they can't paint again and just kill people.
Yep. It was interesting. The art style looked interesting.
Combat looked interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, okay, I'm actually kind of intrigued by this.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I believe that was the one that I think it was, where it was like, it was the combat was almost turn-based. Like, it reminded me of Final Fantasy, where you had, like, the modern Final Fantasy, where you had 4 people that you'd choose an ability, and then you'd press, like, an action button when they were fighting.
Yep.
I believe that was that one.
I think it was.
And I was less intrigued by the story, but more intrigued by the actual gameplay. Unless I find that exact game later that I'm talking about, and then I will bring this all back up then. South of Midnight had an official gameplay trailer. Microsoft and Compulsion Games are ready to share more of South of Midnight actually is. The makers of We Happy Few have now released the gameplay trailer for their Fantasy Swamp after a hurricane coming to Xbox consoles and PC in 2025. Looked good.
It did. I think this did.
It actually.
I was gonna say it did more for it than the first thing, but the first one was just kind of like the
first thing was
teaser.
Was the girl talking to the dude playing guitar, and then just kind of being like a "what's out in the bayou" type of thing, and it was like, none of us have any idea. And then this one was actually more personality, gameplay, and a little bit more like showing off of how things actually work. And like, okay,
like a little action adventure game.
Yeah, I can see that being fun.
Yeah.
And then for the first time ever, World of Warcraft showed up at Microsoft's press conference.
Yeah, that felt weird, but
yeah, didn't it?
Yeah, I was like, it's weird, but cool.
But they showed off a new cinematic.
Yep,
that was a first time cinematic getting revealed there, and not at BlizzCon.
Yep, which was also weird because they were using cuts from an old cinematics. Right, in the beginning, which threw me. I was like, "This is weird."
As Xalatath was telling the story of essentially of Azeroth, they're cutting from all the expansions leading up to it, and then they announced that, hey, it comes on August 26th, so get ready. Nate's got to take time off.
Yeah, is that
yes?
Do WoW expansions trend fall normally? Or is it just kind of all over the place?
They would trend fall.
Okay.
You're looking at August to December usually.
Okay. Usually. So it seems like compared to the past couple of expansions, this is a little bit earlier.
This is much earlier than the last two. Well, the last two for sure, because the last two were Thanksgiving in November.
Yep. So. But timing should be good. So
yeah. Then there was a Metal Gear Solid Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater trailer, which actually looked good.
It did. It looked good.
I don't really give a shit about Metal Gear, but it actually looked good. And I was like, should I play this?
Yeah, I mean, it's Metal Gear, so also don't really have a horse in that race.
Just the Amish.
I think hearing the horse clopping through made me like, oh, horse in that race.
just the timing. Yeah. I don't really have a horse in that race. Horse goes by. What the
fuck? It looked really good, though. It did look good. Everything you want to see in a remake, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. You don't want to. I didn't have the same taste in my mouth as Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Where I was kind of like, ugh. Sea of Thieves getting a 13th season on July 25th, where you can become a villain.
A bad pirate. Is there good pirates?
Depends on, I guess, how you look at things. Are there good Vikings?
Probably.
Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn will be released on July 18th on Xbox consoles and Windows PC. The creators of Ashen, it's a Souls-light type of game where you got a pistol, you got an axe, specifically, I guess, a flintlock pistol. It's like a sidekick thing that was with you?
Yeah, like a god that's helping you?
Yeah, there was... It looked interesting.
Yes.
It looked a lot more interesting than the last time we saw it.
Yeah.
The last time we saw it, I was kind of out.
The world traversal, like the little like I don't know if it was like a traversal puzzle game or something where you had to hit the triangles.
Yes, yeah.
That looked kind of neat.
Yeah, the combat actually looked good too. I mean, the last time that we saw it was like an alpha version where it was, here's the combat we intend. And then when I saw that, I was like, okay, I understand what you're attempting to attend. And this could be good, but you are so early that I need to just go away and come back later. And then they did, and it looks good. So,
yep.
Age of Mythology Retold from the creators of Age of Empires is expanding into the world of gods, monsters, and humans on September 4th. I have literally no horse in this race.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'm sure if people liked Elder, they're gonna like that. Or Elder Empire. And then Perfect Dark still exists.
Yeah, that one I wasn't expecting.
A game I thought was in development hell.
Same. Well, that's what everyone was saying.
But it's back, and we get the first look at the gameplay since it was announced, and honestly,
it looked good.
It looked really good. No release date, which was sad, but watching it the entire time, I was just like, yeah, this looks really good. My brain didn't even put that it was Perfect Dark together. I was like, oh, this is just Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed. This is what should have happened years ago. And then they're like, and it's Perfect Dark. And I was like, oh, I'm a Perfect Dark fan now. That's weird.
On Game Pass, too.
Yeah. Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred coming this October. A new character class, region, and story are going to be coming to Diablo 4 with Vessel of Hatred. In case you want to see a trailer,
I fucking needed some nightmare fuel. Thanks.
In case you want to see a body get literally ripped apart and strung up, then you don't need to watch it. It's pretty gross, but man, it's a good Diablo trailer.
It is.
And then guess what? Fable is still alive.
It made an appearance.
It's coming in 2025. No actual date, but they did say coming in 2025, and it looked really good.
Yeah.
Like visually, the little bit of walking around they do of stuff and doing the trailer, I was like, all right, I now need to see gameplay.
Yeah, which
like actual combat.
That's the
one thing.
Yeah, that's the scary part because it is Playground Games. They can make big, pretty worlds. We know that.
And they can do really good gameplay.
Yes.
They have done really good gameplay. But this is a
totally different world.
Totally different genre.
Yeah. So we'll see on that one. I'm optimistic. And I do enjoy the original Fables, so
yeah. All I needed was somebody to say Chicken Chaser.
Yeah. Chicken Kicker.
Yep. Then we get to Fragpunk is a 5v5 shooter where you have modifiers in the form of cards coming in 2025. We watched this, and my immediate thought was the people at Concord are pissed.
That's such a good idea. Why don't we think of it?
Because this just looked better in every way.
It did.
It didn't try to sell you on anything. It just went, we're a shooter, and here's cards that can manipulate the game, and it's just, comically fun.
I don't know if they made it obvious in the trailer, but I do hope that the cards are not tied to characters.
I hope they're not either. I hope they're just, you pick like 4 or something and go into a match type of thing.
It didn't look like they were, and I think they'd be much better off. They made the characters and the loadouts and everything. It's personal, dealer's choice.
Yeah.
And then the cards are, like you team select them or however the fuck.
Yeah, you either get to select them all or you're essentially running around picking up Mario Kart boxes where that's just happening. You go through you go through a random generator and then just have them and they persist through death until you use them or something.
I think that would be interesting for a competitive situation, the whole card system. But
I think
whether it's
I think the card system would be interesting if it was Mario boxes, where it's like you just run around, run over or shoot a crate to get like a spinning thing happen. It lands on a card. You can carry up to 3 or 4 cards, but you have to burn one in order to pick up other ones. Because there were one of the cards was like to make really large heads on the enemy team and stuff like that. So it's like there's definitely enough like weirdness where I think it could just be a lot of fun to just kind of have like Mario Kart shooter where it's just chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Winter Burrow, a game with a little mouse returning home. Bad news, the home destroyed. So on its way in 2025. Mixtape from the makers of Artful Escape. Mixtape is a mysterious coming-of-age story told through music, coming in 2025. It was an interesting idea, but I was just like, I don't really get what's going on here.
Yeah.
And then, hey, did you need a job? Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. You can start working in agriculture, search and rescue, cargo transport, aerial firefighting, VIP transport. What was the other one? Wildlife photographer.
Yep.
Bush pilot.
The
big cargo one where they like landed in a plantation.
Fucking
Coke dealer.
Michelin blimp.
Yeah, true. Michelin blimp. Yep. Fighter jets, helicopters.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of stuff.
Hot air balloons. Did you say that one already?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I didn't say hot air balloon, but yeah, you're right. Forgot about that one.
Does it lift into the air and fly? You can do it.
That's true. Then we got to the Elder Scrolls Online Gold Road because it's their 10th anniversary. Gold Road is coming on June 18th.
Still around and kicking.
Still popular.
Yeah.
Then we got to Life is Strange Double Exposure. Neither of us on this podcast give a shit about Life is Strange, but it's coming out on October 29th.
Yay.
Now for the one we do give a shit about, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. An actual trailer. Actual gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Indie being indie. There's a boat in the Himalayas.
Yep.
We're not going to talk about that, though.
Yeah. Who cares? It's there.
It's just there.
Nazis.
Don't think about it. Yeah, Nazis put it there. No official release date. It's supposed to be out sometime this year. But, man.
It looked good.
It looked good.
I'll play it. I'm going to play it. They got me.
I'm pumped. Then we got the Mecha Break trailer that we already talked about. Then we went to Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. It's the another Souls-like one. A lot of Souls-like ones.
There was a lot of Souls-like games.
Then we hit Avowed, and I don't care. Which sounds bad, but like Avowed was one of their supposed to be pillars for like the last 3 years that they've been touting, and I just don't see it. I might be completely wrong, but
I think they pivoted, and the developer interviews and stuff like that it's almost turned into. I think they had planned on making it a pillar and it being this big RPG, and then I think they basically are like, yeah, we aren't really in it, so we're gonna make it something else and then move on. So I think it's going to be a much smaller scale than originally anticipated, and not like,
yeah, I would agree with that. But hey, it's coming out this year, and hopefully, if you're still excited, that this did something for you.
Yeah, I mean, if I have time, I'm definitely curious to check it out.
Yeah, I might like maybe watch somebody play or see a video when it gets closer to release, so like a 20-minute thing of something, and just kind of like see if I get the itch type of thing. But then, to my surprise, Rebellion showed up, and I was excited. I'm still technically excited, but like
they fucking hooked us in the beginning.
Yeah, they started with Rebellion, and then a countryside, and I'm like,
and it's like Austrian German.
I'm like, there's a lot of sniping angles here. Oh, there's mechs now. All right, do we move to the future? Are we doing an alternate thing where like they already won? Like what's going on? And then they announced a game called Atomfall, a single-player survival game set after a nuclear disaster in Great Britain, coming in 2025. And all in. It's on my list now.
Yeah, I'm down.
Then we got some more Assassin's Creed Shadows, to which the point of I forgot the next Assassin's Creed was in Japan. Literally in the middle of that trailer existing, and went, "Oh, that's Assassin's Creed," because I had already blocked it out of my head.
Sure, it'll.
Because we're going to talk about it tomorrow.
Yep, I'm sure it'll do bonkers, and
I hope it does do bonkers. I hope I'm wrong.
I hope it's good.
I hope it's good. I'm sick of them releasing middling ones.
Yeah, I hope it's good, but I also don't want it to be like,
but it also seems
here's a giant fucking world. Go collect some
I
shit.
need them to learn and actually learn, not Jeff Keighley's version of learning.
Yeah.
Then GSC Game World release. Why? Are you looking at the same article I'm looking at?
Yes.
Why is that there?
Which one?
I'll bring it up later. I'm not gonna bring it up now, I guess. But what?
This whole article's fucking me up. I don't know if it loaded for you or if it's just
okay.
If it's just me, but all the videos are out of sync.
Oh no, mine seem fine.
Okay.
But GSC Game World from Ukraine. It's that part.
Yeah.
It's like what?
I figured once I read it, I was like, oh, it's the.
I get it, but it's like why? We didn't mention what country everybody else is from.
Yeah.
Yes, they're in war, but like, I don't know. Anyway, Stalker 2.
Get those clicks.
Stalker 2 official trailer, and like, lots of things going on. Lots of actual gameplay. I think the one thing that annoyed me with the gameplay is there's a scene. It's really early on. The guy's walking up into like a tower with a sniper, and he's clearly reloading. And then he reloads, gets to the top of the tower, looks down, and immediately fires an unsilenced shot, not thinking, like no check of surroundings, just bang. And I'm like, I would not do that. But it looked really good, so I'm intrigued. I've always been intrigued, and now I'm more intrigued.
Yes. The soccer games typically creep me out.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree because they're weird.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right to be creeped out. Then we go to the new Xbox Series. They're making some new consoles. And when I say new consoles, I mean we're just adding a digital-only Series S and X and putting bigger drives in them. So, you hey, you don't need to buy them if you already own one. You don't need to buy them if you already own one. Stop buying them. And then, one more thing. Gears of War E-Day. Gears is back with a new installment that is technically a predecessor.
Yep. Prequel. What was it? 16 years before?
14, I think.
14, is that what we said?
I think so.
14 years before the first Gears of War. In my opinion, honestly, I was not that interested in a continuation, a Gears of War 6 in chronological order, which is what I thought they were going to do, because there was a lot of rumblings that there was going to be Gears of War. I am more interested in a prequel, weirdly enough. So, I think
right. I think a prequel is more enticing because there was stuff that they, by going back 14 years and doing it at the Locust Invasion and stuff like that, there's enough that is like seemingly untold in gameplay that is told like through kind of like lore stuff, but you don't actually exist in. And so I think doing that to kind of exist and do like a come up story almost is a little bit more entertaining to me than just trying to make another Gears and being like, it's the kids of them now because we don't really know what else to do anymore.
Yeah, and then just the story in general is just getting out of control. Get out in the weeds. And that was the Xbox Game Showcase. I think the best one of the weekend so far. You know, maybe Ubisoft will come out and blow us away, and we'll be like, "What the fuck?"
If that happens,
I don't know what.
I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah, I don't know what to do if that happens.
If I am audibly sitting at work tomorrow going, "Wow," then I don't know.
I don't know
what do
either.
I do with that information?
You'd be like, "Who am I? Who am I? What is this?
What is this feeling?" Yeah, so Xbox wins.
Yep.
And well, I guess we'll see what Ubisoft and stuff have. But hey, if there's anything, find one of the recap sites, go watch them. There's a lot that we didn't go over. There's videos for almost everything. There's there's a lot.
Yeah.
Especially those indie ones. There's a lot in those indie ones. Wholesome was like 70 something. I think Latin Games is probably is around that same number of 70 maybe. There's that Latin FPS one. There's so many.
Yep. We do have a couple short things.
Ooh.
Rip through real quick. Fallout TV series creators are now leaning towards the show lasting 5 seasons instead of 3. A new version of Hogwarts Legacy is apparently in development. A, quote, director's cut, end quote, from members of Rocksteady Studios are working on it. I don't know why. Yeah, the director's cut is weird to me.
Yeah, I don't...
Like, what is that?
Why?
Yeah. Why? Why? Just why?
What does that do for me?
Probably nothing but give them more money from all the fucking coked out Harry Potter fans. Sega announced it has partnered with Amazon Prime Video to release Like a Dragon Yakuza, a live-action TV adaptation of the game series.
I'm so intrigued by this.
3 episodes are releasing on October 25th, and another 3 on November 1st.
I want it to be semi-campy.
I don't know what to expect at all.
There is a Like a Dragon, I think it's Like a Dragon or Yakuza, whatever, movie that was made years ago. And it's campy as all shit. Like when you watch Black Dynamite and you go like, what is it making fun of? There you go. Like there's the scenes where they'll either flip the camera or whatever and pan over to somebody like standing halfway, like if the hall ended here, they're just standing half body exposed around a hallway, like staring at the people talking. Like, what are you? Just weird campy shots, or whatever. And it's like, I just want that. I want the same. I wanted to understand the games.
Okay.
Which is to have yourself a heart-wrenching, overarching story, but then to have just ha-ha hilarity in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Where you're just dealing with something that doesn't make any sense.
Sony is launching the PC adapter for its PS VR2 headset on August 7th for $60. Some features are missing.
Of course.
Like HDR.
They can't ever release anything when it's
headset feedback and eye tracking are not available on the PC.
Yet.
That's pretty ridiculous. And I'm sure people will mod it in.
I'm sure they will.
Take-Two's publishing
60 also seems like a little much, but
that is. Take-Two's publishing label Private Division has pulled out of a publishing deal with Bloober Team, and IGN is reporting that Take-Two is planning to close or sell Private Division.
Yeah, that rumor's been kind of going around, and they're like, no, I believe Take-Two's words were, nuh-uh, and then everybody went, well, why did you just close? And they're like, no reason.
Yeah, no particular reason.
So, not looking great for him.
That was it. The short things that seemed interesting and relevant.
All right, well, it's been 9 days. What have you been up to?
Nothing.
Perfect. Then it sounds like we're done here.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
my shit's the same.
I don't got anything exciting to report on, really.
Yep, I'm basically in the same boat that I was 7 days ago, so...
Yeah.
All right, then. Go watch things and get ready and have a hype meter for the summer. Got some things you can play now.
Yeah, there is. That's the one thing, I guess, we'll comment on it real quick. That's the one thing I appreciated about this weekend's events is nothing was really crazy out there. I
didn't see anything that said 2026.
Exactly.
But I did see some stuff that said nothing.
Yes. But there was a lot that had actual release dates, a lot of it being this summer and fall. And then, a lot of stuff that was out now, and that's cool.
And a lot that, even when it's like, my whole thing is like, if you're going to do 2025, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do 2026. Don't tell me something's coming in 26. I don't care. Mm-hmm. The only things that are allowed to get away with that are stuff like GTA.
Yeah.
Where it's too big. But you have to earn the right to be able to say you're that far out.
Yeah.
So, alrighty then. Toodaloo, bye-bye.